So today I've been defrauded, which is not very nice because when you work hard and someone dishonestly takes it away from you, it sucks. So I thought I'd share that story with you, what happened today, why I am really annoyed about it, and hopefully it will resonate with somebody to know that this happens to us all, and lawyers too. So I woke up first thing this morning to an email from Stripe to say that 3 payments for membership fees to my website, BlackBeltBarrister.com, have been reported as fraudulent. Now, I personally believe that the person who opened the account, used the website, and used a card has falsely reported that the card was lost or stolen. And I'll tell you why I think that. And I'm going to sue them for it, quite frankly, because it's just not acceptable. Now, the card matched their address, which as it happened, matched to a company that they're a director of by way of postcode and name, obviously. It matched the CVC, the security code on the back. It also matched by 3D Secure when they set up the online payment, which means they send a PIN number to your phone, or you get a app code from the app on your phone from your banking. So there's some step by the card holder to prove that they are really the card holder. Now, what that does is also shift the liability to the card issuer for that initial payment, although you still have to go through all of the hoops. And incidentally, Stripe also charge a fee of £20 plus their own processing fee of 42 pence per transaction. So that's £60 something straight away, whether I win or lose these disputes. Now, I strongly suspect that I'll win the disputes on the basis that the account was set up, it was linked, it was used, I can show they've used the account, it's linked to the email address, the name, there's evidence that it's really that person through the due diligence from the company's house records that I've pulled up. And obviously the 3D Secure, which shifts the liability to the card issuer for the first transaction at the very least. I don't think it works for subsequent transactions, but I find that a bit odd given that it's a recurring transaction. But anyway, because the subsequent ones are not a person present transaction, the shifting of liability works on the first transaction. So a little tidbit of information for sellers out there. But nonetheless, the first payment was authenticated by 3D Secure. So there's no doubt really in my mind, it's possible, but it's very highly unlikely that this was actually a stolen card. It's much more likely that they've reported it as stolen because they've probably decided, you know, I don't want this service anymore. I'll reclaim some of the money by telling them that the card was stolen, because that's what they do. There's no doubt about this, that if that is the case, if they've dishonestly told them that they've lost the card when in fact they haven't lost the card, then that is fraud, because Section 2 of the Fraud Act 2006, making a false representation to make a gain for yourself or a loss to somebody else, is the basic definition of fraud by false representation. And so I'm really frustrated about this because it's either one of two things. It's either a genuine full-blown identity theft situation where someone's adopted the person's name, address, email that looks like the person's name, used a card that's their name, obviously, and somehow on the surface it all looks like that person, and it's flat-out identity theft to get access to my services that I work hard to put on that website. Obviously, I get some AdSense here on YouTube, but I also set up the website because these videos take time. All of this stuff takes time, and I've been at it for years now. So we all as creators, we do little bits here and there to try to bring in a bit extra, which is why now and again you'll see a ticker tape going across whereby you'll see a link to change your energy supplier, and they give you £50 and they give me £50. I'm completely open about that. But because I share that link, some people sign up with it and they give you £50, they give me £50, everybody wins. But it's that little bit that helps as creators when we do these little things. Much like you'll see lots of creators, they'll create little plushie toys and they'll sell those. There's also, while we're here, I'm going to support another creator. This is not a sponsored video at all, but for exactly, it's on point. It's absolutely on point. I bought this device here, which is a charger for, if it will focus, it's a charger for the batteries for the Sony a7S III. It's created by Peter Lindgren. I'll link his channel. He's here on YouTube. I'll link him in the description below. I'll link to the product. It's a great product, but I bought it for the sole purpose, not the sole purpose, the primary purpose of supporting him as a creator. Because I thought, that's fantastic. Someone is out there, they're creating something to help to support their journey on YouTube. And so if anyone's interested in these, like I said, not a sponsored video. I'm doing this to support a fellow creator. So you can charge 3 batteries at once. It tells you what the status of each battery is. It will charge them simultaneously. It will prioritize the one that's got the least charge in it to get that up to charge. It stores your memory cards in here as well. You push these in and they come out, and so you can store those in there. So it's all in one place. Like I said, it's a brilliant product, but the primary reason I bought it was to support another creator. Now, when we do these things as creators, and I've created content primarily to help people, but also it does help to support me moving forwards and to continue producing these videos, which take time and effort. And then to have somebody fraudulently use my content, use my website, claim the money back. Now, like I said, there's 2 possibilities. Either it is a genuine flat-out identity theft, which I don't think is the case, whereby they've adopted the person's name and an email address that looks like theirs. They've somehow got hold of a card and all the details to fraudulently make that payment. It's either that, or this person has just told them that the card's stolen when it hasn't been. And so they've got the money back by telling the bank, hey, my card's been stolen, give me the money back, and the banks just bend over and give them the money back. They just hand it to them straight away. And in doing so, we get slapped with a £20, it might as well be a fine. It's not a fine, legally speaking, but it feels like one. It might as well be a fine. We get slapped with £20, bam, every time somebody withdraws the payment by a chargeback, and the bank just gives them money. And then we have to challenge it, go through all this process and provide evidence, which takes time, yet more time for money, really, just to get back. It's only £15 a month, the website subscription, but I'll already be down even if I win the chargeback, because obviously I'll be down by over £5, even by going through the process of providing all the evidence. And if I win that chargeback, each one of those 3 that he's filed, even though it's been a recurring payment. Now, if he wanted to cancel the subscription, cancel it. And if he didn't like the service, then I'd have probably refunded it. But that's besides the point. In his particular case, I'm not going to go into details. I was thinking about going into details because either they admit to being the person there, and then obviously they've admitted to either using a stolen card or to falsely reporting it stolen, or whatever. But I've decided not to, name and shame and do any of that kind of stuff. But the person, suffice to say, has used my services. I've got a track record, audit record of the person. Whoever's created the account has used my services. So if someone were to stand up and say that was me, then they're admitting to, using the services and then falsely declaring that it's a stolen card, or actually using a stolen card. As I say, the only reason I can't really do that is because it could be a flat out wholesale identity theft of somebody who just happens to have an email address that reads the same. It's been matched to the address. It's the correct card. And somehow they've got hold of the phone that's linked to the account and got a PIN number sent to the phone, or they've got a phone logged into the banking app and they've got the PIN number sent through to that, all of which is virtually unheard of with 3D Secure and the way that works, which is why they shift liability back to the card issuer. So I don't believe that, but it is possible. So obviously I can't name names, and I wouldn't name names for that reason. But what I am going to do is write to them to firstly threaten to sue them for the money. If they were to write back and say that it's not them, they can have the day in court and prove that it's not them. But I don't think that's going to work, quite frankly. So it's just really frustrating, to have someone fraudulently take this off you. So as I say, especially when I do things, I feel like I always do things in the right way. I've, bought this for the primary purpose of supporting Peter, fellow YouTuber, and it's a great product. So, you know, if you want to support creators that create these videos for you, there'll no doubt be some people in the comments saying, oh, you're just a grifter, you know, trying to make money by this website and stuff. But, you know, I don't care. Everybody that does something like this for the purposes of supporting themselves going forward, making a bit of extra money here to help support going forward. Obviously, individually, those little payments don't replace an income, but collectively, they certainly help. So that's why we do it. But then to have somebody fraudulently take it from you, that's just an awful feeling. So whoever does things like that, and if the person that did it is watching this, shame on you, seriously, because it's fraudulent, it's wrong, it's dishonest, it's illegal, and it's immoral, it's unethical. So I feel for all the sellers out there that end up in this situation, have all those fraudulent payments as well. You're not alone. It happens to us all. I remember years ago, I had one such fraudulent payment. It turned out to be some gang the other side of the city, and we actually tracked down where, this is when we were selling products, we tracked down where they went and where they were, who they were and everything else. And part of me wanted to go over and confront them, and the other part of me didn't want to end up dead. So we didn't go. We left it as it was. But same sickening feeling of somebody taking it from you and just acting dishonestly. Those sort of people make the world a worse place. But in my mind, I will always do the right things. People won't always agree with what I do. They won't always think that what I'm doing is right. They might think it should be something else. But ultimately, in my mind, as long as I'm doing the right things, I know that everything's fine. So just know you're not alone if you end up in that situation. If you're a seller, if you're in business and you've ended up being defrauded, someone else has ripped you off somehow, you're not alone. But for those people, I would say I will continue to provide these videos as guidance as to how to sue them, and if necessary, to prosecute them. Because if it goes to a criminal court, obviously it has to be run separately and independently from any civil case. You can't run one for the sole purpose of succeeding in the other, although it has a way of being quite effective. If someone is successfully prosecuted for something, your civil case is remarkably easy. And even vice versa. If they are successfully sued in the civil courts, it can stand as evidence against them in a prosecution. So they do work together. You just can't do one for the sole purpose of doing the other, because if it's a prosecution, it has to be completely independent, and you have to comply with all of the same codes for prosecution and so on, and disclosure and everything else. So there it is. That's what I might do. And if I did that, I would instruct independent counsel to run a private prosecution. We've done it before, not for ourselves, for other people. We've done it before. We've privately prosecuted people before. And it works. Anybody is entitled to prosecute another individual or a company for that matter. So obviously you have to do things the right way. You can't just do it on a whim. It's got to be done in accordance with the rules. But that's where we are. That's my frustration for today. So bit of an unusual video today, I expect, but I just wanted everyone to know you're not alone. If you go through this rubbish yourself, I go through it too. And so today I thought I'd share that with you. But so if you've watched this far, well done. Thank you for staying with me. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is just a bizarre one that I couldn't just laugh off. I sort of had to vent and share it a little bit. But either way, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.